We're closing in on spring and my inbox is full with outdoor project requests. Well, over the last few days, I put together a list and today I'm choosing one of those projects to show you how to get built and turn a big ass profit. Let's go. We're going to be starting this project with the base. For the base, we're going to be using this 2x10 by 6'5". For the base, we're going to be doing a hexagon, which is 6 sides. And anytime you wrap a project around, all you have to do to figure out those connecting angles is take 360 and divide it by how many sides you want, and then take that number you get and divide that by 2. So we know we want a hexagon, so we'll take 6 sides and divide 360 by 6. That leaves us with 60. We'll take that 60 and divide that by 2, and all of our angles are going to be cut to 30 degrees. Now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to cut 3 at 20.5 inches. I jump at every opportunity to use my big 12. You know what I'm talking about? Don't forget, slap on your PPE. We're making our first cuts square. We're really just cutting these down to more workable sizes. Right, I've got all 3 of those cut. So over here at the miter box, we're going to turn our bevel to a 30-degree bevel. We'll go ahead and cut that 30-degree bevel on one side of each piece. And from that long point of the bevel, we'll be pulling over 10 inches and cutting that other 30-degree bevel. Cutting 6 altogether, long to long, 10 inches. Making sure to keep track of each cut. And it is important to make sure that your cups are facing down, so you're going to be cutting on the top side of your boards. If you look closely, I've got the grain continually wrapping around until it reaches that one end that isn't wrappable, if that makes sense. Now I'm just going to write numbers for each connection point, that way I don't get mixed up. Now I want to add some dados in my pieces. So what I'll do is find the center and then go center of the center. We'll get our blade height set to 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to be cutting those 3 dado marks on each of these pieces. And we'll add a dab of glue, 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 add a dab of glue. Don't worry if you have any kind of micro gaps. Like I've got a couple of gaps that are maybe a light 1/16. That's not the end of the world. We can get those covered up. So we'll let this dry up and I will meet you back here. Now with that leftover 2x10 that we have from that 6'5" piece, we're going to use that to fill in the bottom here. And your length should fit right in there if we did everything correct. All we should have to do is rip whatever width we have across this flat section here. And we've got 8.5. To fasten our bottom, I'll be using some pocket screws. I'll get my jig set up for 1.5" pocket holes because we're using 1.5" stock. And I'll be drilling 3 holes in each side of this piece, fastening them with 2.5" pocket screws. The best thing that you can help me out with is smacking that like button, hitting subscribe, and smacking that bell so you're notified every time I post a brand new video. Let's go. All right, the next thing we're going to work on is the top piece of our hexagon. We're going to rip some 1x down to 2 1/4. We'll head over to the miter saw, and we're going to be cutting 6 pieces long of a 30-degree miter to long of a 30-degree at 11 inches. We'll add a dab of glue. And we're going to pop a brad in his ass. All right, next order of business, I'm going to take some 2x4 and get 2 pieces cut to 20 inches. After that, we'll cut another one down to 17 5/8. On that 2x4 we just cut, we're going to rip 2 45-degree bevels on either side, keeping in as much width of this board as possible. Let me demonstrate. All right, now for our 2 20-inch 2x4s, they're going to sit right on top of our bottom, and we'll mark the center of this one bay right here. Mark the center of your 2x4, mark where your 2x4 touches the side, and add a dab of glue from there down. And we don't need a rub joint this time. And I've got some 3-inch T15 screws that I'm going to be installing to hold these in place. And yes, they are stainless. Rock stars, it would mean the world to me if you would leave me a comment below and tell me where you're viewing from. And smack that like button if you're enjoying the content, and if you're not subscribed, if you would, I would appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. Now for the top piece that we ripped those 2 45-degree bevels on, you just want to make sure you have equal spacing on either side. Just drop the tape, why don't you? And you should have about 1 5/8 inches on either side. Add a dab of glue. And pop a brad in his ass to hold it temporarily. And we'll add a Daniel. And we'll add a T15 screw straight through the top to the 2x4. All right, in our last few cuts, we're going to cut 10 pieces, long point of a 45 to square at 10 inches. Now we're going to speed up this process just a little bit, and I'm going to wind up taping each set of 2x4s to wrap around the roof and gluing them up in place. Add a dab of glue. We'll pop a couple brads in his ass to speed up the process. Just like so. We'll do that 4 more times, and I'll meet you back here to fasten these together. Alright gang, I'm going to fasten my 2 end pieces with about a 1/4 inch overhang on the outsides. And I'm using these 3-inch T15s again. All right, now what you want to do is take a framing square or a straight edge of some sort and just line up your 2 screws together and describe a line straight across so you know where to install those screws. That way you get a nice nail pattern. We're putting about a 1/4 inch gap in between each one. That's how you build a badass wishing well planter. Wow, Rockstars, I gotta say, this project is probably one of my favorite smalls that I've built in quite a while. I see these things going online anywhere from $150 upwards of $300. I've got the materials calculated that I used on this at $18. Times that by 3, you're looking at about $36 to build 3 of these, and you're looking at about $900 easy. That, my friends, is a big ass profit. My wife is actually going to wind up painting this, so I'm going to let her have at it, and I will post some pictures in the Facebook group. So be on the lookout for those. And if you're not part of the Facebook group, click the link in the description and join today. I hope this project has inspired you to get in your shop and make some sawdust. Skål.